Okay. The two articles. The first one was about marketing strategies, all the research that went behind the whole Colin Kaepernick ad campaign, and how they knew it was going to be decisive, but that they were prepared for the repercussions, and they did. They chose Kaepernick on purpose. That's the whole point behind this. They knew their demographic. They knew what their demographic stood behind. They knew more or less their political leanings. They knew their demographic would back them in this decision, right? And that was to put Colin Kaepernick as more or less the front runner for this ad campaign, right? We all know Colin. He's the one that started the whole kneeling during the national anthem thing. I don't support it, right? But I can see the reason behind it. Um, but yeah, the first article talked about how Nike knew what they were getting into, but they had planned accordingly and made sure that they'd get hit the least, right? They were just marketing to their own demographic, the whole social injustice or justice thing, right? They put not the nail in the coffin, but they cemented the way the company would see things, right? They did it really good for. They pointed it out really good in the article. Was standing up for something, get people riled up, passionate, right? Passion drives sales, uh, stuff like that. It's smart, right? It's smart. They knew what they were getting into. They knew their demographic was like females again, more sentimental, more feelings based. They knew athletes, again, runners, sentiment, right? They can back another athlete, uh, young crowd, right? Young kids like fashion, stuff like that, right? So they knew their demographics and their political leanings, right? They knew they were most of the people buying their stuff is young liberals, at least according to the article. I mean, it went deep into politics, even bringing up Trump for whatever reason. I mean, yeah, he disapproved of the whole kneeling thing, right? But I mean, it it's not relevant, at least to this conversation. But Nike did. I don't think they pulled off in the long run. I'm pretty sure they got hit, right? But they stood behind their guns and they did what they did. And you gotta commend them for that, kind of. I mean, I don't know a lot of companies that would put themselves out there like that, especially with somebody so controversial, because Colin's got a controversial name even now, recently in the news about the whole practice thing. I mean, it's weird, but what are you gonna do? Uh, it was their choice completely. They did it, and you gotta commend them for it. Second article, on the other hand, is just pretty much talking about how Nike is, in terms of, I guess, athletic wear and fashion, shit like that, stuff like that. Um, they're the leading company in that situation or in that industry, right? How they're beating Adidas, Under Armour, all of them. It's pretty much just talking about how they're so innovative and in which, I mean, they kind of are. Their shoes are great. I mean, yeah, there's just not much you can say. I mean, they make some really good shoes. And yeah, the second article is just mostly about how Nike's doing so much better than everybody else, and and kind of how they have the revenue to back up these stunts or risks that they choose to take or not take. Right? They're pretty much saying we can eat the cost of this because we know people are going to keep buying our stuff, and people do. I mean, it's Nike. Who's going to stop buying shoes over a guy kneeling? I don't know a lot of people that would. I mean, people burned all their merch, but that doesn't really amount to much, especially because they already got the money for that merch to begin with. So, if anything, you're doing them a favor because you might want to buy more later on. I don't know. That's just the way I see it. In terms of uh, the 3 steps of strategy making process in terms of Nike. The first big one that I can see is that they went from solely making, you know, shoes, clothes, staying out of the spotlight much, they're with their brand. And more recently, you've seen a lot of social justice, inclusivity type stuff. I mean, we talked about it with Victoria's Secret and stuff. Uh, Pepsi did it too with that whole big commercial. Um, but Nike decided to try it out, I guess, with this whole Colin thing. I mean, I can't think of anything they did before Colin that would have been even remotely this controversial. Uh, but yeah, they put a controversial figure. They knew they chose a side pretty much in this whole debate. They said we're backing this guy, right? We believe in this, and it worked, right? Because people want to feel good about what they're doing, even if they're just buying shoes, right? They want to feel like, oh, I'm supporting the cause, right? Everybody wants to feel like they have a purpose. And Nike kind of gave that to people who are buying shoes, right? They're cemented their opinion on the topic. They decided as a strategy that they're going to go after this, and they did. And in the short term, probably paid off. Long term, I completely disagree with the analysis that the guy gave in the article because we it's in the future now, right? And we've kind of seen Nike take a down tip in certain aspects of the business, including that. Regardless, they took a stand on the topic. Uh, they went backed Colin completely. I mean, whole ad campaign. It's yeah, it's a good strategy. It's one that they did where they assessed the situation to where they were just before just selling normal stuff, right? And then this whole uptick with that. I mean, they've gotten super political lately. I mean, that flag shoe, right? They pulled it off the market for whatever reason. I don't know. That's probably a bad idea to get political when you're selling merchandise, but they did it. They assessed their situation. They said we need to give ourselves a better image, and they kind of did, right? In terms of at least to their liberal base, they gave themselves the whole "oh, we support the cause, we're backing these guys." They assessed the situation. They gave themselves that look, and now they have to roll with it, right? It's a strategy they chose. They picked a side. Like I said, they cemented their opinion. They threw their hat in the ring, and that's a good strategy for the most part. But at the same time, it's like you got to pay the ramifications of your actions, and I think they're kind of doing that, considering that they had to put a lot of merchandise off the shelves because of public opinion. And if you're gonna side with public opinion, you kind of have to not look like a hypocrite when it's pointed at you and you're in the wrong. Um, but yeah, they assessed the situation, made a strategy, did it, and now they're having to live with those decisions. The situational analysis is when it goes really into depth. They actually did a ton of research going into this ad campaign. Like I said, they knew who their demo was: women, young people, and athletes. Right? Weird, but that's apparently what the numbers say. Right? They did all the analysis doing this. They figured we can eat the cost of this because it doesn't matter because their demographic is already more or less on that side politically. Like I had previously stated, women tend to make decisions and laws and stuff like that judging by sympathy, right? They're more stop sympathetic towards certain causes. Young people, they have disposable income. They even said the rich but not rich yet, $100,000+ a year. But I guess they'd be more inclined to buy overpriced shoes or be more invested in the whole fashion aspect of Nike. uh, Athletes for sure. I mean, how many athletes do they sponsor? It's kind of their thing. That's what they're known for, right? Athletic running shoes. That's just who they are. Um, but yeah, they really did their research going into this. They assessed the risks of putting their hat in the ring in this political debate, and knowing that they might lose some people, but it's not going to be that big of an impact, considering that maybe just yeah, we're doing something, we'll get people to already on their side to buy more stuff, just if anything, like, yeah, Nike gets it, we're going to just support Nike from now on. Yeah, uh, their biggest strength was the fact that they already had their demo, right? They knew going into this that their demo isn't going to be that affected by that decision. If anything, they're going to back them with it, right? They knew who their demo was. Their marketing switched it up a bit. They took a more social and justice aspect, right? We saw the ad, the commercial actually. The ad was basic, but the commercial did point out a bunch of stuff. Uh, Pretty good commercial. Message behind it is great. Why they did it, I don't agree with it 100%, right? But they knew their strengths. They knew they had their demo on lock. They knew this wasn't going to be that big uh, in terms of taking money away from them, right? Maybe a little bit, but at the end of the day, they kept probably the majority of their consumer base, right? Their weakness was that they actually did this, and you can't be 100% sure of what's going to happen when you do something, especially when you do something like this. Like I said, it was something that kind of divided everybody. I mean, you have a symbol of what this country stands for, right? National anthem. I mean, you should be proud of where you came from. I don't see the correlation between that and police brutality. American flag has nothing to do with that. I mean, people come back under it, right? My brother was in the military, recently passed away. I hold an inherent bias towards it, but I mean, I don't think I would regardless. I mean, you kind of have to have respect. I mean, this country gave me everything, right? It doesn't matter much to me. I mean, this is why you don't talk about politics, right? Especially when you're selling a product, you're more or less shooting yourself in the foot and hoping it doesn't bleed out. Um, Regardless, their weakness was that they did this to begin with. You can't be 100% sure of what's going to happen. They could have lost way more consumers. Maybe they did. I'm pretty sure this was a bust for them, at least. Uh, I might have to look into it, but I'm sure I saw a bunch of things where this was one of those go woke, get broke type of situations, i.e., Starbucks, i.e., a ton of, I mean, the the new the new Charlie's Angels, right? They went super liberal within feminism, right? All that. And out of a $50 million budget, they only got 8 million from the jump. I mean, that's horrible. Those are horrible numbers, right? Clearly, this doesn't work. But I'll commend you for it if you're going to stick behind your guns and actually do it, and then stick behind it and not back out, right? Um, in terms of opportunities, there was a big opportunity in this. Uh, whether you're for it or against it, it was a hot button issue. Uh, Nobody else that I can think of is this political about their ads. I mean, some people do it, especially more recently, right? But when this happened, it wasn't that known for it. Uh, Known for it to be a thing, actually. Uh, but yeah, they saw an opportunity to cement their brand as the progressive brand, as the social justice brand, the we believe in these causes and we'll try to back them up if possible. I mean, yeah, you gave a rich guy money that's already rich. Doesn't really do much. I mean, you're already making your products overseas and sweatshops, shit like that. But right, this is a good start in terms of publicity. This is good publicity, right? Good publicity, and that's where the opportunity came from, right? People want to feel good about their purchases, about everything they do, right? They want to be in the right. This is a are you going to be on the right side of history moment, and it was a big opportunity, and it probably paid off on them short term, for sure short term, right? If you believed in this cause, did that, I guarantee you people who just backed Kaepernick, went and bought out shoes, right, and believed in that cause, I guarantee you their sales spiked, right? Will it be good in the long run? Who knows? Pretty sure it wasn't, but it did what it was supposed to. It got Nike in the spotlight. Any publicity is good publicity, right? As long as your name gets out there. And that's exactly what this happened, or what this did, right? Like I said, Nike was just a shoemaker, a windbreaker maker, stuff like that. Now it's the company who backed an entire movement and said, you know what, we're gonna do this because this is what we believe in. Whether or not that's true, who knows, but they did it. And that says a lot. In terms of the strategies used in the article by Nike, they talk about the triple double, where it simplified it's just pretty much do everything first, try to get things out as fast as possible, high turnover, right? Keep pushing things to market as fast as possible, get people interested in your stuff. Uh, yeah, it's the triple double. It's it's pretty much doubling their speed in getting things to market, and then doubling their uh, connection with the consumer. It's simple. It's effective. Yeah, it's extremely effective. I mean, if you look at all the numbers, Nike's by far the most recognizable, the most talked about, the most said looked for brand. Or yeah, it's people want Nike. It's apparent by that article. I mean, the numbers are consistently 30s, 40% of the entire market, or at least in the surveys that they did. In terms of strategies that I would say Nike could do, they already went the social justice route, right? They're there. They're known for it. Back to Kaepernick, go for it. Same thing I'm gonna tell for Victoria's Secret, right? You already hit this step. Continue forward. Hit that market, um, charities, all that. Get good light on your company, and it'll pay in droves, right? Again, people want to feel good. People want to know that what their money is going to is going to a very good cause. What's better than Nike just being that brand, the good for everybody, right? Back social causes, back all that. You might as well, you already did, right? Made this for yourself, now own it. That's my big strategy that you're gonna do. Just go for it, right? Just own it. Own your decisions. Do what you got to do. Get that money. Get that money, right? You already turned that leaf. Just go for it. Nike's vision statement is to pretty much bring innovation to every athlete in the world, right? Already doing that. You think Nike, you think athletes. You think Nike, you think running. You think Nike, you think football. You think they're already doing it. It's the athlete brand, right? There's a lot of people or a lot of companies trying to get in on that, but Nike's got a pretty big hold in that market. Everybody knows Nike for their athletic wear. That's literally what they are, right? Yeah, they branch out. They, you know, but Nike is athletic wear, right? And they follow their vision statement perfectly. That's what they are. That's what they're known for, right? It's literally that. It's clothes, merchandise for athletes to make them as good as possible in their respective athletic field. At the very least, assure that their products will not wear down their products, or they're going to wear it, right? But there's not going to be any product problems with those products being used in any field that they're being used in. While their mission statement is to more or less expand human potential, that's hard, right, to quantify or to even point out. But you can honestly see how, I guess, getting people more active, you know, inspiring people to be the best that they can be in their respective fields is kind of what they do too, to a point, right? I mean, that's why they give athlete sponsorships, right? That's the whole thing behind that is you're seeing potential in somebody and you want to put money towards them to better themselves in order to help the company grow. Do any of these really help with goal setting for the company? Probably, right? Uh, the way I see it is, if you're gonna have an athlete, right, you wanna do everything possible to make them the best, help them out, you know, stuff like that. I don't think any of these human potential. I mean, what what kind of goal is that for a company, right? The whole athlete one I get, right? Their vision statement, the one having to do with athletes, right? Because I get that. It's literally what they do, but human potential is really hard to. It's too broad, right? I don't think you can come up with a specific goal for that. But the whole athlete thing, yeah, just put money behind these athletes, right? Promote sports, right? Fund things for the communities. You can do a lot, right? Future athletes, but their mission statement's way too broad. I can't think of any goal that would be with the getting human potential out, unless they're going to be athletes, and the vision statement clearly focuses just on that. So take from that what you will.